Hello, my name is Blue Spiker, and welcome to this PvP Rift series. Uh, Today is just basically an introduction to the series and what I'd like to do. Basically, the idea for this is to go through and level through war fronts, doing quests in between while waiting for war fronts to queue up. But the idea here is to gain some knowledge and strategy of how to win at the war fronts at the different tier levels, and also basic strategy for each of the different war fronts and what to do for each of the different types of roles, being DPS, healing, and support. This character is actually a Cleric, which does not have any support roles, so we won't be getting into that too much other than some incidental things that maybe I'm picking up from the different players that happen to be in my warfront and seeing some of the things that they do. But what I'd like to get into first is basically what this character is and what I plan to do with it. This is a Cleric. There are 4 callings in Rift: Warrior, Cleric, Rogue, and Mage. Within each calling there's 8 different souls and a 9th soul, which is a PvP based soul, which we'll definitely be picking up. Through the series of tutorial quests, like the starting area, you get to pick your first 3 souls. Those 3 souls will basically comprise your first spec. At level 13, you get quests to get the other 5 normal souls that go with your calling, and then for a price, you can pick up the PvP soul from the PvP vendor. I believe it's for 2,500 favor. So, what I like to do with this character is set up at least 2 or 3 different roles, that is, different specs, to be able to play through and see the different strategies and things I can do depending on which role I'm playing. Right now, you're seeing me as a Warden, infiltrator, Cabalist. That obviously is not my first spec, but I wanted to have the ability to play a healer before I got to level 13, which ended up being kind of a mistake, as you're probably watching through this right now. I actually about to switch to my main spec, which is going to be Cabalist, Inquisitor, Warden. Would later to replace the Warden with the PvP Soul Templar. So for the Cabalist spec is basically an AoE caster. They do have some single target casting ability, but mostly deals in some channels. As you can see, what I'm casting right there, channels which create lurking decay, specifically the decay channel, which can be used to bolster their abilities. Obliterate being the first one you get, which is a instant cast that does damage and also pulls off any stacks of lurking decay that you have, which also contribute to more damage and also goes to an AoE. They also get these things called sigils, which when you use powers which consume lurking decay, they'll also consume a sigil that you have on yourself. Each sigil does something different. The first one you get is actually a mana regen, but you get one later that will add a snare and other things like that. You also have some basic AoE ability. You also have another channel which does damage. You also get a nuke that has a dot attached to it. There's all sorts of different things to get to. We'll get into the different specifics later. I combine that with the Inquisitor Soul, which is basically a single target nuking soul, but mostly I'm going to be using that to bolster with passives. Probably nothing too significant from that tree, as I'll be going full Cabalist 51. The other souls I'm going to be using is Healing Soul, or another role I'm going to be as a healer. Probably that's going to be Warden, Sentinel, Purifier. All 3 of those are healing souls. Warden being hots, which tend to give a lot of mobility. So, I kind of like that idea for warfronts. So we're going to kind of stick to that as my main, and that will also be a full 51 point spec. Real quick here, we'll get into the basics of this warfront. This warfront is Black Garden. The idea is to pick up the Fang of Regulos. Whoever holds on to the Fang will gain points for their team. Closer you are to the center, the more points you get. In the center area, you'll notice kind of like a black little space. Whenever you're standing in that, you'll get about 6 points per tick. And as you start going back closer and closer to the spawn points, you'll get less and less points. The first team to get the 500 wins. The other thing to note is whoever's holding on to the Fang will slowly take damage over time, and it gets bigger and bigger the longer they hold on to it. Obviously, the thing to do is if you do not have the Fang, to obviously take out the person that does. This somehow tends to get lost in this battle, in these warfronts. I'm not really certain why. You should notice I'm already not following my own advice. I'm just sitting there in front of people, but it's basically a loss at this point, so we might as well try to get a little bit of a little victory by killing off somebody, but it doesn't really look like it's going to happen here. So, well, this is wrapping up, so this has been Blue Spiker, and I'll see you next time.